Hi, I'm AJ Marks.
And I'm Megan Solaginto.
And you're listening to the world's first podcast.
Yes, the first podcast ever. So congratulations. This is American Idiots Abroad. Internet. This is a podcast that we like to call American Idiots Abroad.
You can really call it whatever you want. It's not like we're going to get upset.
No, I mean, like it depends what they call it. But
yeah, okay. Tread carefully then, just in case.
What makes a song British sounding?
Have you ever even listened to a country song?
And have you ever had your day ruined by a Brit telling you that they've never heard of Paramore?
I know Megan has. I think that's a very common thing, but...
It's an anecdote.
You just might find out during this episode. On this podcast, we discover what makes us uniquely American by analyzing the differences and similarities between the US and the UK with a super cool guest each episode.
Yes. So, hi, I'm Megan. I emigrated from the warm, sunny lands of California to the wet, gray lands of England, and it has been 6 years of Brits asking me, why would you do such a thing? So, hopefully today I can prove that both countries are great in their own little ways.
They're fine. And I moved from Boston, USA to Liverpool, USK over 4 years ago. And I mean, everything's been the same in both places, except of course, like everything that we've talked about on this podcast.
Yeah, we have a whole podcast about it. So
yeah, everything that's not on the podcast is exactly the same.
Yes.
Precisely.
Today, we have a very incredible guest. We added a very there. He's collaborated with some of the biggest artists of the 21st century, including Rihanna, David Guetta, Neo, will.i.am, and Sia. It is producer, engineer, songwriter, and Grammy Award winner, Aamir Yaqub.
What's up, y'all?
Damn. will.i.am and Sia and Rihanna and David. Wow, I love all of those artists.
They're pretty cool people, man. I'm not going to lie to you. They're pretty cool people.
AJ is the biggest Black Eyed Peas fan.
I am such a Black Eyed Peas fan.
Oh, really?
They're like my favorite.
Wow.
The biggest, yeah.
The biggest that I know of. I'm sure that there's someone out there that, you know.
They had an insane run, man. They had an insane run, for real.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still going. I didn't even know that.
They still have a song with Shakira charting right now, even though they started. Their album roll out like 2019, so ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. I actually saw that the other day.
Yeah.
If that's not an old school run, I don't know what is.
Ah, man, crazy.
And Specsavers.
Specsavers, yeah, exactly. The partnership there. That's a big partnership. Big Will.
I'm confused with the Specsavers. What?
Do you not know this? So will.i.am, like...
Oh, does he do ads for Specsavers?
Yeah.
Yeah, he has his own line with them.
So Specsavers is like a discount eyeglasses, or just an eyeglasses shop, I guess.
Yeah.
And will.i.am is in like all of the billboards and advertisements for it.
Oh, like Adam Levine with Proactive.
Yes.
Or Katy Perry with Proactive. Yeah, back in the day, all the celebrities, they were like, yeah, I use Proactive.
They've all done it. I saw like a Alicia Keys advert with that and all that kind of stuff as well.
They got Alicia now.
That marketing budget.
Yeah, man.
Anyway.
That is a really nice transition into our topic today. Our topic is US music versus UK music.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And specifically, I think the first thing that I want to bring up has to do with will.i.am.
Naturally.
I like it.
And it won't sound like it has to do with will.i.am, but we'll get there.
Okay,
yes.
okay. It's a journey.
Where are you from, and how would you describe your accent to a listener?
Oh, God, no.
Whenever AJ and I tell people that we live in the UK, they'll start talking to us in some sort of like Cockney-sounding accent or something. Like,
yeah, right,
hello,
okay.
governor, and stuff. And go, no, that's not.
Like Dick Van Dyke in Mary Poppins.
Exactly.
That's exactly how it sounds. Yeah.
Classic.
So they might be confused as to where you're from.
Yeah, so I am from London, as in I've lived in London. Apart from when I studied, when I went to Leeds, I have lived in London all my life. I grew up in West London, so I could never class as a Cockney because all Cockneys have to grow up. I think it's like somewhere in East London, somewhere between Bow and somewhere further out than that. So that's me, basically. And I've kind of like, I've taken influence from different accents because my mum, she's got like some crazy mad cocktail of an accent, which is like Pakistani, which was, my family's Pakistani. She grew up in Bradford, which is next to Leeds. So she's got a bit of a Yorkshire accent. And then she's got a London accent as well.
Oh, interesting.
And it's just like, you know, like 3 words will all fall out in different accents.
Yes.
That's so fun.
So like I've got a bit of influence from that.
I think also if you're like a non-Brit living in Britain and you're exposed to so many different accents, if you try to do an impression of a British accent, that's also how it'll sound. Just every word is in a different accent.
So like, for instance, like someone pulled me up on this the other day. They said to me, how are you saying room? Right? I can't even say it properly without overthinking it, right? So room is how you would say it, right? But actually, in fact, I say room.
I knew that was coming. The rum makes more sense to me in terms of like a British accent.
Is that how they would even say it in like Yorkshire?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, rum. Yeah.
Yeah, rum. It's kind of like much more of a Yorkshire thing than it is a London thing, right? But I always say, yeah, I'm going to the bathroom, bedroom, you know, like I'll put it in the other room. Do you know what I mean?
I love that you say bathroom as well.
Yeah, I do. What am I supposed to say?
Loo? I don't know.
Bog.
Toilet?
Go to the Kazi, as they say.
The what?
The Kazi. Have you not heard that one?
No.
Yeah.
I've heard that one a few times, but not so much.
Wait, how is it spelled?
Kazi. Like think khaki, but just replace it with a Z or a Z.
Oh, RZ. Oh, interesting.
No, I've never heard that.
Kazi. Yeah. Going to the Kazi.
Well, you heard it here, folks.
There you go.
Hearing us learn something new.
Yeah, that's right.
But anyway, so back to the topic now that we know who you are and why you sound the way you do.
So, like the UK music industry, right, is like way more group heavy than solo artist heavy.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah.
Right? I think we brought this up on a previous podcast, but you have like all the One Direction members, Cheryl, Robbie Williams, George Michael, all the solo artists come from groups. And then you have...
Or a lot of them.
A lot of them do, yeah. A lot of them do.
Or the Brit School.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah.
True.
You have all the Beatles.
Yeah.
I think one of the main things that you see straight away here is how group-oriented the music industry is still here. I love bands, so it's fun to see for me, but it's interesting, the juxtaposition, like when you look at the charts or just Spotify and what's being recommended to you, a lot of it is not bands, or if they are bands, they're marketed more as like a boy band or a girl band, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So there are bands and there are groups. And that's like the main way that the UK industry operates.
Yeah, there's a difference, right? There's a difference, yeah.
Would you agree or disagree?
Oh, God, it's a tricky one. I mean, like, you know, I feel like obviously there's the history is of groups, definitely. So obviously if you think about big ones like the Beatles, the Stones and stuff like that, but even nowadays groups, I say nowadays, One Direction split up about however many years
like
ago.
5 years ago. But
yeah,
you know.
I know, right? I'm going to say I agree with that point, okay?
Excellent.
I'm going to say I agree, even though there are some wonderful, great solo artists. I'm in the good books already, huh?
Well, like, because like even like the ones that aren't bands are like, y'all popularized like the Spice Girls and the One Directions and like Little Mixes, and everyone's just in a group.
Yeah, of course.
We have like the one example of Fifth Harmony, I feel. Like modern example.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what? Even Fifth Harmony is like based on the success of X Factor because I mean they were formed on X Factor, so I feel like X Factor only really tried that with them because it worked so well in the UK.
Yeah, fair.
And then even bigger of a point, you have like groups like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys who did fucking amazing in Europe.
Yes.
Before they even like debuted in the US.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did, yeah. Max Martin, their producer, who was like producing most of the songs, his sound was so much more European. So I think their strategy was let's go to Europe first, do a bit of stuff there, and then come back to the US with all of that behind us.
Yeah.
And also there was that guy who was managing them who was like part of a Ponzi scheme who was crazy.
Yeah.
Have you watched that documentary?
Yeah, I have. Is it Lou Pearlman, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw it. It's crazy.
Yeah, jumping back into will.i.am. Yeah. I mean...
Yeah, of course.
AJ is much like that old saying, like, all roads lead to Rome. It's like, all roads lead to will.i.am.
Lead to will.i.am,
That's AJ.
yeah, why not? I love it.
Or Fergie, but I'll just get as close as I can with will.i.am.
Yeah, for real.
So this is where it gets to will.i.am, right? So we're talking about NSYNC, we're talking about groups or whatever.
Okay, I see what you did. you did.
American artists that are from groups in the US are way more celebrated in the UK, like Nicole Scherzinger and will.i.am.
Correct.
Yeah.
You know?
Good
Correct.
point.
I agree.
Like will.i.am is fucking massive in the UK and just like isn't as big as a celebrity.
Relative.
As like a personality, he's not as big in the US, which is incredible.
Yeah, I agree. Black Eyed Peas as a group have been going for donkey's years, right? As they say. So
donkeys, yep.
Yeah.
he's obviously come through all of that. But when the Black Eyed Peas started out, particularly, they're a bit more kind of like underground and, you know, quote unquote cooler. And then obviously when Fergie joined, it was like, yeah, we're taking this all the way, right? But I mean, will.i.am's performed at the Super Bowl, so you know what I mean? That's a pretty big one.
They're huge in the US, but I remember like even what was it, Shut Up, or they have had a couple like UK exclusive hits, like songs that didn't really cross over to the US.
Ah, okay.
I think this happens when we get each other's celebrities. We think, oh, this person must be originally big in their home country, which is why they've come over here.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's not the case. Like you even have a non-musical example that just comes to the top of my head is John Oliver, who is like nobody here and then is huge in the US and like has his own long-running HBO program and stuff. So it's interesting how we have that within the music industry as well.
Yeah.
The one example that I used at the beginning was with Paramore.
Yeah.
This isn't that common, but I have had some times where I have been like, oh, you know, Paramore, like to my boyfriend James. I was like, yeah, Paramore, yada, yada. And he was like, I don't know who that is.
Wow.
And then I proceeded to play like every major Paramore song. And he was like, no, I don't know. And I just, my brain exploded. Like I could not handle that fact because it's so foreign to me because I feel like everyone in their 20s at least would from the US would have heard of like Misery Business or something.
Definitely. I feel it's like so weird because, you know, Paramore were obviously quite huge in the US, and I can't remember why I would have actually listened to them. Well, not why I would have listened to them, but how they came onto my radar. But it did feel like it was quite American music, you know? It felt like it had that American feel to it, and it was like, oh yeah, this probably goes hard on the West Coast. But, you know, even maybe there are other parts of America that don't even identify with it. I don't know, man. It's crazy like that, you know?
But to rewind a little bit, it's interesting because I know, wasn't it like Cheryl Cole, right?
Cheryl Cole, yeah.
Is there a difference between Cheryl and Cheryl Cole?
Are they the same?
Yeah, they're the same person.
But are they like, is it a persona?
It's just different names that she's had over time. Because, like, I think she would have started out when she was in Girls Aloud, she would have been not married to Ashley Cole, who's the footballer she was married to. And she would have been, I think it was Cheryl, I think her original name is Cheryl Tweedy, I think.
Yes, I think you're right.
Cheryl Tweedy.
I always confuse Cher Lloyd and Cheryl Cole.
Yeah, they're different.
And yeah, who's Cher Lloyd?
They're different.
Cher Lloyd is from the X Factor as well.
Exactly. So she is from the X Factor, and she had a song which was really big.
Cher Lloyd by Cher Lloyd.
Yes.
Have you seen that video?
Please look up Cher Lloyd by Cher Lloyd on YouTube.
I haven't seen this. I'm going to look at it too.
Oh my God, it's brilliant.
No, but I was going to say, like, wasn't Cheryl Cole supposed to be on X Factor in the US? And she was on like for one episode and people couldn't understand her accent, which is from Newcastle. And so she was kicked off.
Yeah, it sounds about right. To be honest, like I completely, absolutely love Geordie accents, Newcastle accents. So like I'm quite upset at actually hearing this news because Geordie accents are just, they are fire.
Thank
Aren't
you.
they great?
I love them so much.
I've been saying that this entire podcast.
Oh my God, man.
That's my favorite accent.
Oh my God, definitely. It's like in equal parts cool and sexy and everything. Like it's just the one.
I think it's so fun.
Geordie above all else. I just like the goofy accents. I just like the accents that kind of sound like you're falling down a flight of stairs, you know?
Do you have a sort of like idea that comes to mind when you think about what makes something British sounding?
British music tends to sound a lot grimier. Obviously, this is a bit of a general statement, but
we love a generalization.
Yeah, you gotta love the generalization.
That's all we do on this podcast.
Yeah.
So
Like, otherwise we will be here for 3 hours just talking about this. But it tends to, the US music tends to have much more of a polish on it. It tends to be a lot sparklier. A lot of me and my British friends, we always say, why are things always so much better, so much more dramatically better in the US? If I was to think about, like, I don't know, something like a marriage proposal and how it would go down in the US, like, it would be so much more different than it would be in the UK.
you can just say extra. We get it.
Okay, extra is the word.
Over the top.
Well,
you
we
know.
can take it.
I wasn't thinking of that word, I promise you, but it is much more extra, but that's, that's in the music as well.
Yeah, it is.
So it's like,
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, when I grew up, like, a lot of the time I was listening to a lot of East Coast hip-hop, and I just used to be like, wow, this just, like, slaps you in the face. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to listen to what would be classed as, like, it would be more mainstream, like Biggie and Jay-Z and stuff like that kind of vibe. But I would listen to UK music at the same time, and I would just be like, this is weak AF, right?
Interesting.
Because it just didn't have the same kind of, like, it wouldn't hit you in the same way. It hasn't got the gusto, and there's a million reasons for it, really, because, like, we could talk about it, I could definitely talk about it on a technical level forever. But, I remember speaking to, there's a friend of mine, he's done quite a few big productions. He did part of Ariana Grande's first album, and he's from the UK. He's actually from near where I live in Tottenham. And he said to me, when he moved to the US, because he did for a while, I think he's still there actually, he said, do you know what it is? It's just the voltage is different.
Oh.
And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, it's just different voltage, so that's why music sounds different. And I was like, come on, it can't be that simple. And he was like, no.
No way.
He was like, I've been both places, and that's what it is.
So just like the plugs or like actual...
It's just literally the amount of power that goes through.
I thought that you all had higher voltage.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Like, we do, because, like, we're 240 and you guys are 110.
You do, because the phones charge faster.
Yeah, and that's why you have those big ass plugs.
And that's why you have the power switch on and off. Because
Yeah.
you waste too much power if you leave them on.
He said the only logical thing he could think of was that the voltage is different.
Wild.
Maybe a lower voltage equals more extra.
Yeah, you got to make up for what you've lost.
That's what we figured out.
Maybe it's overcompensation. That's what it is.
Yes, that checks out.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
actually.
I don't know how much I believe that or whatever.
Who was the friend? Because I know a lot of the producers on that album.
It's a guy called Harmony Samuels.
Oh, shit, really? Oh, he's great.
H Money, yeah.
Do you trust his opinion then, AJ?
Yeah, I trust Harmony Samuels.
You got to trust his opinion, man.
Right. Okay. Well, then you heard it here, folks. That's the reason why. Okay. I have a question.
Yes.
That's what this podcast is for.
I know that you probably aren't, like a genre dictionary, as most people aren't. But
Speak for yourself.
I'm very curious as to how you would define drum and bass,
Oh, okay.
because we don't really have drum and bass
Yeah, of course you don't.
as a part of our mainstream. The only thing I can think of is like one of the songs on After Hours by The Weeknd definitely had a drum and bass inspired beat, but like that's the only thing that I can think of a North American artist in like the mainstream.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, so
I hear it come out here and there.
but you will hear like a pop star having like a little drum and bass middle eight or something here.
Yeah.
Things like that, like, or influenced, so it's just something that we really aren't familiar with. So when we hear it, we might not even recognize it. So could you potentially describe that, or describe like what sort of markers you might hear that say this is drum and bass?
I would say, like, my description of drum and bass, I mean, like, and obviously all of my friends who listen to this and like love drum and bass are going to go, what? Are you crazy?
Oh no.
We're here for the hot takes. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm about to do a big disservice, but drum and bass is basically something which I would describe as sped up breakbeats. So it would be like breakbeats that were taken from famous records, like the Amen break by the Winston Brothers or the Think break by James Brown. And for anyone who doesn't know what a break is, it's like a break in the song where just the drummer plays, basically, right?
Yeah, like a breakdown.
That's right. So exactly.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's sped up versions of that, basically. So rhythmically, that's what it is, right? The bass lines on drum and bass were just insane. Like, literally my mind would be twisted at shows.
Yeah.
The bass kind of just moves in a way which you're just like, oh my God, like, am I going to be like sick or something like that?
Am I going to make it?
Yeah, exactly. Am I going to make it? But then obviously, like, when it started to get a bit more popular, like, there'd be people like MCs who would be, what we say, chatting. They'd be chatting over drum and bass beats really fast.
Yeah.
Because, like, it is at fast tempos. So they'd be like,
It's so fast.
and you'd just be like, whoa. I mean, obviously, it's a skill. That never really took off in the mainstream, I wouldn't really imagine. But my description of drum and bass is sped up breaks and really, really heavy bass lines, which, you know, you might feel sick at.
You might feel sick.
Have you watched People Who Just Do Nothing?
Yes.
Yes.
It's actually filmed in the area which I grew up.
No way!
What is this? Can someone explain it to me?
It's such a good... Okay, it's a show that's on BBC, I think.
It is BBC, but it's available on Netflix as well.
Oh, yes. Okay, so all listeners, definitely go check it out because that will show you a satirical version of what drum and bass is, right?
It's kind of,
Basically.
yes, but also, it's also, that this is the thing, you're going to get into trouble now, Megan, aren't you?
Oh, no.
So the people that are on People Just Do Nothing, they are basically like the people I grew up with. It's no joke. Those people were at my school. They
MC
were, you know,
Grinder.
yeah, they were all in the, yeah, like I don't personally know them, obviously, but, you know, those were the kinds of people. I've probably met them at some point. I've definitely met Chabuddy a few times.
Yeah, listeners, definitely go check that out, but after this podcast.
So, yeah, that would be classed as garage, by the way.
Oh, would it?
Garage,
Okay.
interesting.
Yeah, so that's not technically drum and bass.
Tell me the difference because I
God.
can never understand. Garage and drum and bass, the difference is just BPM, right?
BPM, and also sometimes, well, actually, you know what? I'm thinking back to the show, and they do a lot of stuff with drum and bass, but they also do a lot of stuff with garage. So garage is like the beats tend to be a bit more syncopated, and it wouldn't be based off breaks. Like usually, it's not based off that kind of boom boom cap boom 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 cap. It's more syncopated. I'm not going to do syncopation because I can't think of a garage song right now.
You'll have to establish a beat first.
Yeah,
and then,
yeah, you know what I mean. Like it would be crazy, but
So it's a whole thing.
and it is BPM. You're right, but the BPM has a lot to do with it as well. But you know, garage tends to feel a little bit more bouncy as well, whereas drum and bass tends to feel a bit more, I'm taking you on a roller coaster ride here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You can't get off. This is just how it is.
You can't get off. They're both cool. They're both obviously sounds of the English underground mainly, but they have had their time in mainstream as well, definitely.
And how would you differentiate those from then just general like grime music?
So grime was kind of like a lot of people would say grime was born from garage, which, you know, I mean, it's a bit lazy maybe, but it's not entirely untrue.
Because grime artists don't like being called hip hop artists, right?
They don't, yeah.
Even though Americans would probably think that, like, if they heard a grime song,
They'd be like, oh, this is just British hip hop.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and this is the thing, like, grime kind of came around at a time when things were a little bit more globalized. So, like, you know, the internet started becoming more of a thing than it already was. I think because of that, like, grime started to kind of like reach out to a lot of different places. Like initially it would have been Europe, like places like Germany and Spain and stuff, but also the Americans would have picked it up. You guys would have picked it up. It is born from garage, like particularly when you think of the MCs kind of aspect of things. A lot of them would have made kind of switch over from talking or chatting, like I said, chatting over garage beats and stuff to grime. But grime's much more specific than garage ever would be. In a way that MCs particularly kind of felt like they were just talking about labels and, you know, Prada, Gucci, all of that kind of stuff. Whereas grime, it aligns a lot more with the birth of hip hop, I would say, because there's much more of a message and it's much more specific to, you know, the parts in where grime was created, which is basically around the corner from here. It's basically all East London, and then it kind of went south, and then it went back up north with like Skepta and people like that. They're from up north. They're from like Tottenham kind of way. So do you know what I mean?
I love up north being Tottenham.
Yeah. I was going to say.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of how it goes around here.
Yeah.
So would you say hip hop is more of an American thing?
Oh yeah, 100%.
And when British people hear hip hop, they go, "Oh, that's American."
I mean, yeah, definitely.
Okay, I just didn't want to say it because it sounds better coming from you. Sounds more authentic.
Yeah.
It's because of the accent in it. Yeah.
In it.
Yeah, exactly.
So thank you so much for joining us.
That's all right. My pleasure.
Where can people find you online if they're interested in music, technology, or things like that, where they could come to you for some advice?
So I'm on all platforms as Aamir Music, which is Aamir, and then music, Music. I forgot how to spell music.
Just in
What the
case,
hell?
MEUSIC.
ZZZYY.
It's okay. I can't spell out loud for shit. Like, I
it's
have
crazy.
to have it in front of me.
I tried to spell respect, even though there's a song that spells it the other day, and I started spelling RSPCA, and I was like, that's not right.
Whoa,
yeah.
whoa.
On another podcast as well. RSP. Oh, no.
Megan, if you can't spell respect, then you don't get
I don't
respect.
deserve it. Yeah.
I was going to say you don't deserve it, but you don't get it is my more tame version of it.
You have a podcast that you're starting.
So the podcast is called Charting Tracks. It's basically conversations between me, my friend who's a digital marketing guru and has worked on huge campaigns in the UK, and my other friend who's a university lecturer in music. And we're just talking about all kinds of stuff to, I guess, if you're an artist or you want to be an artist or if you want to be involved in the music industry, just loads of stuff like to do with, what do you need to think about when making a record in terms of like songs and music and how do I record it and then how do I market it and all of that kind of stuff. So, it's a funky little situation that we've got going on there.
A funky little situation.
Bombs.
If they want to find out more about your music and what you do, you also have a website, yes?
I do, yeah. That's AmirMusic.com, spelled
The same way.
the way that I
Yeah.
spell it properly. Yeah.
MEUSIC.
AJ, who are you? Where can people find you if they want to find out who you are?
Such a good question, my friend Megan.
They want to put a face to a voice,
Oh, if you want to put a face to my voice, then you can just type in AJ Marks Official, and that's just 2 letters, AJ. I'm not saying Adrian, like everyone always thinks I am.
Really?
Yeah, every time I put in a name for like an order, I'll say AJ, and they'll nod their head, and then later on, it'll be like, Adrian? And I'm like, that's me. I guess. The A does not stand for that. But
I like that name, actually.
it's AJ Marks Official on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, on just like anything. It's just like, might as well, like if there's a social media platform, might as well like plug in AJ Marks Official and just see if I'm there,
Just try it.
Yeah. Might as well. Like,
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
I've covered a lot of ground, but, you never know. You never know.
Yeah.
So,
Pornhub, LinkedIn.
yes.
Yes.
OnlyFans.
Yeah, all of the above.
OnlyFans, yeah.
Bumble BFF,
Yeah, one day soon.
And then my music is out under the name AJ Marks. That's my stage name. Also my real name.
Yes. What a coincidence.
It just worked out that way. And I have a couple songs out there, and I'm going to release
Some
a couple
coming?
more. Yes. So eventually.
Nice, nice.
Now, Megan, you're up.
Up to bat. So you can find me, as you know, at I Am Sola Music. That is SOLA, not Solar, I promise. You can find me at I Am Sola Music on Instagram, Twitter. I just got a TikTok. I don't really know what I'm doing there yet. We'll find out.
You got TikTok?
Yeah, I went on it and then I got like depressed and I was like, this is probably not a good app.
See, I was talking about how I'm on all the social medias and not on TikTok. I am on TikTok as like user 407398, like,
And that's the same one on Pornhub, right?
like, yeah, like 18 letters and numbers.
Dear.
So I have that now, and then you can also find me on SoundCloud with that. And then I have some songs, like search up Highs and Lows Sola on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever. You'll hear my
And YouTube.
most recent single. Yeah, you can watch the music video, and yeah, more on the way. So keep your eyes and ears peeled. Can your ears be peeled? I don't
Keep
know.
your ears peeled and your eyes also peeled.
Yeah, keep them peeled.
I'm going to work on that. But in the meantime, if you enjoyed the episode, please feel free to leave a review, and specifically a 5-star review. That would be great.
Yeah.
I wouldn't take offense if you gave it a 4-star review, but 5-star is definitely preferable, I would say.
Yeah, that's definitely preferable. And if you want to find more of what we do, go to soundbitepodcasts.com.
Yes, us. We have a little website.
Follow us at American_idiots_abroad on Instagram. So we're going to just go out on a little song that Aamir worked on.
So this is a song that I worked on very recently called Budapest. It's by an artist called Omar Rose, who I've known for a long time. And had a lot of fun on this one. There was a different production on it before, but she wanted it to be reproduced. And, you know, we kind of explored a few things in terms of sound and soundscapes particularly. So, yeah, have a listen to this one. Obviously, it's available on all streaming platforms.
Bye, everyone.
Adios.
Ciao.
Give me a cause for